The Celtics season has been loud, busy, full of debates, trade rumors, rotations, injuries, and expectations. In the middle of all that noise, one storyline quietly slipped out of focus. Sam Hauser, a player whose value is not built on volume, but on precision. And when that precision disappears, questions come fast. But what if the real shift for the Celtics is not coming from a trade? What if it is already inside the locker room? Before we go deeper, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the hype button right now. Because what we are about to discuss could completely change how you view the Celtics rotation moving forward. Hauser started this season struggling with the very skill that defines him, the three-point shot. Through the first 26 games, his percentage hovered around 34%. That number stands out when you remember that over the last 4 seasons, Hauser has been a 42% shooter from deep. That kind of gap does not suggest decline. It suggests timing. Shooting slumps happen. They are part of the league. The question is not whether a proven shooter can shoot again. The question is when the switch flips. On Friday night against Miami, that switch flipped fast. 5 makes on 6 attempts from beyond the arc. 15 points. No hesitation. No extra dribbles. Just rhythm. And that matters more than the box score. Because when Hauser is confident, defenses have to react instantly. They cannot help off him. They cannot cheat. That spacing changes everything for the Celtics offense. We have seen this movie before. Last season, Hauser struggled early. For roughly 1.5 months, the shot would not fall. Then the calendar turned, and from that point forward, he shot at least 42.6% from 3 every single month. That is not coincidence. That is adjustment, confidence, and trust. Yes, the Celtics have found wing production elsewhere. Jordan Walsh has stepped into a starting role. Josh Minott and Hugo Gonzalez have flashed consistency. Baylor Shireman has had moments, but none of them bend the defense the way a locked-in Hauser does. His impact does not need touches. It only needs respect. And that respect opens lanes for everyone else. With February approaching, trade discussions will only get louder. Names will be floated. Packages will be imagined. But internally, the Celtics may already be watching something just as important unfold. A shooter finding his rhythm at the right time can swing rotations, minutes, and even postseason matchups. The season is still young. Momentum matters. Confidence spreads. And Hauser himself said it best. Shot-making can be contagious. When one guy sees it go in, everyone feels it. So here is the real question the Celtics front office and coaching staff must answer soon. If Sam Hauser is truly back, fully back, does his resurgence become more valuable than any move made before the trade deadline? The conversation around the Celtics is getting louder by the day, and it is not just about wins and losses. There is a growing sense of urgency around the league, especially when one contender starts to wobble. Right now, all eyes quietly drift toward Cleveland. The Cavaliers are not collapsing, but they are clearly uncomfortable. Chemistry questions are surfacing, financial pressure is mounting, and when that happens, smart front offices start listening. That is where the Celtics come in. Many fans immediately jump to the obvious fantasy. Donovan Mitchell in green. It sounds big, dramatic, and headline-ready, but it is not realistic. Mitchell is the face of that franchise, and moving him would signal a full teardown. Cleveland is not there. The real opportunity is more subtle, more strategic, and potentially more impactful for Boston. Jarrett Allen. This is where the situation gets interesting. The Cavaliers are staring at the second apron restrictions of the new collective bargaining agreement. That is not a theory. That is a reality with real penalties, limited flexibility, frozen draft picks, fewer ways to fix mistakes. When a team reaches that point, even strong core pieces can become discussion points. Not because the team wants to trade them, but because pressure forces difficult conversations. Jarrett Allen is exactly the type of player that could fall into that category. His numbers are solid but not flashy. 14 points per game, 7 rebounds, nearly 60% shooting from the floor this season. Those stats do not dominate social media, but they tell a different story when viewed through a Celtics lens. Boston would not need Allen to score. They would need him to protect the rim, rebound, set hard screens, and allow perimeter defenders to be aggressive. That is it. And that is why he fits. At his peak, Allen was an all-star, More importantly, he has already proven he can thrive in a role that does not revolve around him. Place him next to Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard, and suddenly his job becomes simple. Do the dirty work, control the paint, let the scorers breathe. From Cleveland's perspective, the double big lineup has had moments, but the ceiling appears capped. If they want to reset the structure without blowing everything up, moving Allen could be the lever, especially if it helps them balance salaries and avoid long-term financial damage. For the Celtics, this would almost certainly require creativity. A three-team deal. Anfernee Simons rerouted elsewhere. Depth pieces flowing back to Cleveland. Nothing easy. Nothing clean. But front offices do not win championships by choosing easy paths. Here's where the urgency spikes. Neemias Queta has exceeded expectations, but playoff basketball is unforgiving. Matchups get heavier. Minutes get tighter. And having a proven defensive center behind or alongside him could quietly swing an entire postseason run. So the question now is unavoidable. If Cleveland blinks first under financial pressure, are the Celtics ready to strike and turn Jared Allen into the most important move of their season? The Celtics are approaching a moment that demands clarity and speed. Around the league, losses change behavior, and right now one team is quietly drifting into a position that could unlock a meaningful move for Boston. Utah keeps losing. Night after night, the standings tighten, the play-in picture fades, and the front office reality shifts. When that happens, trade doors that were closed suddenly open. And inside that opening, a specific name starts to matter more and more for the Celtics. Nick Richards. This is not a flashy conversation. It is not built on superstardom or headlines designed for clicks. It is built on structure, finances, and timing. Anfernee Simons has shown flashes in Boston, but the broader picture matters. The Celtics are watching the tax line closely. Resetting the repeater tax has real long-term value. If Boston chooses flexibility over patience, moving Simons becomes logical. And Utah is slowly becoming the most realistic facilitator. The Jazz have cap room. Not unlimited, but enough. More importantly, they have motivation. 5 straight losses change priorities. When a team starts thinking about the future instead of the standings, expiring contracts and draft picks become assets. Utah fits that profile perfectly. They can absorb money, collect picks, and avoid long-term commitments. That is why they are emerging as a natural partner in a multi-team deal. Here is where Nick Richards enters the picture. His role in Phoenix has been minimal this season. Limited minutes. Inconsistent usage. From the Suns' perspective, his contract is movable. From the Celtics' perspective, his skill set is extremely clear. Size, rim protection, physicality, simple reads. Boston does not need scoring from the center spot. They need reliability. Richards provides that at a manageable cost. A 3-team structure makes the most sense. Boston moves Simons. Utah takes on expiring money and picks. Phoenix reshuffles its frontcourt while adding draft capital. In return, the Celtics land Richards and Kyle Anderson, shedding approximately $15.8 million in salary. That number matters. It drops Boston below the tax line with breathing room. It preserves future flexibility. It opens doors this summer. Kyle Anderson's contract is not guaranteed for the 2026-27 season, with a salary just under $9.7 million. Combined with Sam Hauser's deal, that becomes a powerful trade tool later. But the immediate focus remains the present. Richards would stabilize the center rotation behind Neemias Queta, who has been solid but cannot carry postseason physicality alone. Utah gains picks and flexibility. Phoenix gains draft relief. Boston gains balance. No team is forced. No team panics. That is how real deadline deals happen. Now the urgency sharpens. Losses continue to pile up in Utah. Phoenix needs assets. Boston needs to decide. The framework is there. The numbers work. The opportunity is forming in real time. So the question becomes unavoidable. If this path stays open until the deadline, do the Celtics move decisively and turn Nick Richards into the quiet piece that reshapes their playoff rotation? If you want to stay ahead of every Celtics development, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the hype button right now.